Part A, simplify. So just like fractions have a simplest term, rational expressions also have a simplest term. We want to factor everything completely, get rid of common factors, simplify the fractions completely. So in part A, what do we have on the top of our fraction? If we put that all together, can you see that you have 2a times 3b squared? First of all, if I put that together, I'm going to get 6ab squared. And on the bottom, I've got 9 times 5a squared. That will give me 45a squared. Some of you might have chosen to simplify some things early. That would have been okay. I'll show you what that looks like as well. But if you multiplied across the top and multiplied across the bottom, this is what you would get. And then to simplify it completely, you'd have to look at your numbers. 6 over 45, can I simplify that fraction? Is there a number I can divide both of them by? 3. And then that would leave you with 2 and 15, right? Then we look at our variables. The variable a, I have a's on the top, I have a's on the bottom. Where do I have more a's? On the bottom. Once they cancel out, you'd be left with 1a on the bottom. And we still have 2 b's on the top, or b squared on top. That would be simplified. If you wanted to, in that first one, some people like to say, oh, the 3 and the 9, that could simplify to 1/3. Right? And maybe you see, well, one of these a's would cancel out. Sometimes the danger of doing that kind of canceling is that you get so many lines you can't even see what you have anymore. And then you get confused when you write the answer. But if you can still see what we have on the top, now I have a 2, a b squared, and a 1. So multiply that together, I would get 2b squared. I have a 3, a 5, and an a. Leaves me with 15a. So that also works, but you got to be careful because you start messing it up, and then you're like, oh, where was I? And you might get lost along the way. So sometimes it's nice to write it out fully and simplify it one step at a time. Part B. The nice thing about Part B is things are pre-factored. Okay? As we get further on, we'll have to do that factoring ourselves. But now things are pre-factored, and everything that's in brackets, there's a multiplication there, there's a multiplication here. It's going to be 5 times x minus 4. There's a multiplication there. There's a multiplication there. Once you've got things as all multiplying, you can cancel out things if they're the same. Can you see that we have something the same? The x plus 2. Those will simplify away and be 1 over 1. Okay? Do we have any other binomials that are the same? No. So maybe now at this step that we've canceled out those, on the top I'm going to get 2x squared times 5. That would be 10x squared, still times by the x minus 4. And on the bottom I have 3x times 8x, which would give me 24x squared. I just did that as a step in between. Some people like to go crazy with the canceling and but again, that might make it messy. Now I look at it again. I won't be able to cancel this x minus 4, but when I look at my fraction, can I simplify 10 over 24? Yeah, what can I divide them both by? 2. That would leave me with 5 and 12. Can you see that these x squareds are identical? Choo, choo. They'll go away. And we're just left with the x minus 4 on the top. That's it. That's now what do I have in the end? I have a fraction. I can't simplify the numbers. We'll leave it in factored form like this. It would be wrong to say 5x minus 20, but the way that you check that it's simplified is you factor it. So we'll leave it in factored form like this. There's nothing in common in the top and the bottom, so this is in its simplest form. And we've got questions. You can do question 3, 5a only, 6a and b, and 11a. You can do as a result of doing that one.